Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So today I wanted to have a bit of a look at the changes that came to the War Dogs in patch 3.1. Or not so much the changes that came to the War Dogs, since they weren't actually directly changed, more the impact of some of the patch 3.1 changes when the patch came out sort of about a week or so ago, and how it's affected War Dogs. So basically the main changes are that they are now a lot more vulnerable with all these new strikes that have been added in. So traditionally, as a War Dog player, one of the main things you need to watch out for is Leonidas with Shield Bash. Let's have a quick look. I don't actually have Leonidas as a commander, but Shield Bash, it basically means any units that are, or any units that including dogs, are in front of his hoplites when he uses Shield Bash, get smashed to the face by a shield. And with the dogs having really low hit points in defense, it means they take an awful lot of damage. It can wipe out half your unit, something like that. So it's extremely effective against War Dogs, which is fine. It's perfectly acceptable, particularly as hoplites like Miltiades and stuff are quite vulnerable to War Dogs, so it works quite well. So you just have to avoid them and work with that. That's fine. But now they've introduced these new strikes. Almost every unit has a form of Shield Bash. So if we just pick, say, Hannibal, and set this up so we can show you that he has Slash, which, a strike, which basically does the same thing as that knockback, and it deals damage, and it means it's just very effective against War Dogs. And now all these units have got it. It kind of means War Dogs are no longer a dominant force, and it's kind of quite a problem. It was something that was talked about in the developers did a Reddit Ask Me Anything yesterday, and it's something that cropped up. Quite a few people were concerned about War Dog sort of being negatively affected by all these changes. It's kind of an unintended consequence. The developers did hint at that maybe in future patches they would make it so that strikes just don't affect War Dogs, which I think would be a good thing. The good thing to add back in, so they'll be back to where they were. But anyway, let's hop into a game. We're going to do this one live since the replays aren't really working properly. And yeah, let's hope we have a good game. So, see you all in the battle. So, we're loading into the Battle of Oasis. I quite like this map, although there's not really that much forest for us to hide in as barbarians, which isn't necessarily going to give us much in the way of favours. But we have got pretty nice matchmaking. Looks like we're sort of largely top tier, although obviously we don't quite know what the enemy team's got, so hopefully they've not got lots of tier 6s. But let's see how we get on. Yeah, those guys up in the north, a bit in the centre. I'm kind of a bit on my own down here. I'm just going to move over one spot just in case no one comes with me, so I'm not completely on my own. If no one else is here, I thought we've got some companion cavalry. I might be inclined to pull a bit more towards the centre. War Dogs are good, but I don't really want to be fighting sort of completely on my own because it's very easy to get overwhelmed. In which case I'm not going to be able to do a lot. So I think we're just going to pull back towards the centre a little bit. Maybe fight this ramp here or just around the edges of the centre. See what opportunities we can find. Got some friendly slingers on our team by the looks of it. A lot of people in joint parties by the looks of it as well. Oh, cavalry already finding the enemy slingers. I'm quite glad I didn't go that way for a start. So we've got already some enemy ranged units down here, some archers down there. Ooh, watch out, get away. We've done quite a lot of damage against those enemy Stati. And we've got some Libyan recruits. It's unfortunate because the way the terrain dips away, we can't get any visual on them, but they can get full visual on us. Where they've pushed sort of up to the ridgeline. It's a little bit hard for us to do damage against them. I'm sort of inclined just to release my dogs and go for it. Particularly if these pikes are going to have a go. Oh, that's enemy dogs down there. Okay. No, I'd rather push down the ramp, to be honest. God, these guys need a dash to be able to pick up speed quicker. We are being range. Let's activate Rebellion and think about releasing our dogs once that's activated. Where are we going to go? Over here probably. Try and lend a bit of support. Let's go for it. Rebellion activated. It looks like they are dying pretty quickly. The dogs are off. They're going to have to pass through the friendly archers there first, and the enemy dog handlers are in full retreat. Some pikes down here. It does have shield bash though, so we've got to be a bit careful of them. Let's recall the dogs so they're not doing anything. Risk the dogs. Obviously I shouldn't really be going against shield bash people, I guess, because there's a bit of the risk. If we rear flank them though, why the dogs stopped? The dogs have all stopped on the corner, which is pretty unfortunate. Let's try and get around them. You see, there's the shield bash, which is very effective. I know this, you know, I shouldn't really be doing it like this, but let's just try and cut these guys down quickly before these others turn up. Okay, pull back, pull back, pull back. Recall the dogs. Oh no, let's not recall the dogs because they're in the middle of them. Okay, alright, bad play, bad play. There we go, we've got him fairly flanked there. Activate our shield bash ourselves. There we go. Okay. Cut him down fairly effectively. We've still got some dogs left alive. We've got a couple of damage there, 1,000 aggression points. Right, come back. Bad dogs. Right. Let's see what we've got left. I think he had a unit of archers, which I'm guessing is still alive around here somewhere, although that may be their corpses there, so maybe they got decimated during the fighting. I'm not sure there's a lot left around here. Let's pull back. Looks like the centre is the place to be, maybe. Let's try and get back over here. God, these units feel really slow after I just recorded the Alexander video, obviously compared to cavalry. I feel like you're walking around so slowly. Looks like our own slingers are doing a good job of getting some damage in on theirs, which is exactly what we want. Oh, Barbarian War Bandits, just lovely. It's exactly what I want to be attacking. They've released their fire. Come on, handlers, run! You really need a dash ability. I'd much rather throw away my slam and have a dash to gain that extra bit of speed. Particularly if these guys are actually not going to do anything. So you're going to have a moment of concern about this. Let's get a rebellion activated. We'll release our dogs ahead of ourselves. I don't know why they keep doing that. They keep seeming to stop for some reason. But they're not actually really any much quicker than us. No, they're not even released. Release. Is that released on all of them? Yes. Okay, well they are engaged now. So hopefully our dogs will get to the fight in time to actually be able to do something. They normally fight their way to the front of the dogs, so they normally still be able to get in a bit of damage before the end. They're just not going to get the charge though. Will not really get much of a charge off. Try and get our units in. Let's just come around the flank here a little bit. See what we can do. Maybe as this unit tries to run away. Fight over our stakes. See if we can get in and get a bit of damage in. Yeah, our dogs are starting to get in now. Take out our own shield bash. There we go. Look at that knockdown. Starting to look pretty good as we keep the pressure on. Cruises a nice bit of damage points, and hopefully we'll get a bit of defense points as well. We've lost a lot of our dogs, but not all of them. Use our charge just as we come into them. And it looks like these are the last of the enemy units as we cut them down. Excellent. There we go. So dogs still do have a position in patch 3.1. It's just that they do struggle a little bit more, particularly against things like the strikes. That's the main problem that I find often in a lot of games. Also, the barbarians themselves are kind of vulnerable to archers a lot more than they used to be. It's definitely something that's changed. I think because of the accuracy changes to the archers, it's kind of mean they can focus on the barbarian infantry a bit more, and because of the lack of armor barbarians have, they've been able to be focused down a lot more in combat as well, which kind of makes it a little bit more difficult for them, I think. But still, not too bad a game. 2,000 aggression points, so not too bad. Ooh, he got absolutely slingered to death. Got pelted by about 100 stones. Okay. So hopefully that gives you sort of a bit of an idea, or at least a talk through of some of the main problems that War Dogs are facing sort of now. We've had the 3.1 patch released. Yeah, I think they still work. It's still a perfectly combat capable unit. It's just, you know, they've sort of been negatively affected by those strikes. I think that's the main thing, is the strikes. Hopefully it'd be nice if they exempt the War Dogs so they don't get affected by the strikes. Obviously the handlers can still be affected, But yeah, if they removed it so the dogs themselves are affected, I think that would be the best thing going forwards. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Total War Arena content. So thanks guys, I shall see you all on the next video.